Well, Republicans are approaching the final weeks of the battle for Congress with momentum as the economy and inflation become dominant concerns. But what happens if the GOP wins one or both houses of Congress in November? Yahoo Finance senior columnist Rick Newman has the latest analysis. Rick, it was just, a few weeks ago that we were talking about sort of these social issues like abortion really driving the gains for Democrats, but it certainly feels like the last few weeks have tipped things over back to the Republicans.
It does seem that way, and this has a lot to do with President Biden's approval rating, which is usually a determinant of what happens in the midterm elections. It has ticked up to around 44%, but that's probably not high enough for Democrats to hold on to Congress. So, what's the outlook for markets if Republicans do win one or both houses of Congress? Republicans, they could pass some legislation, but if it's anything Biden opposes, he'll just veto it. So it's not like we're going to see Republican priorities suddenly becoming law. But the ability to obstruct could be pretty important. And House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who probably would become House Speaker if Republicans win the House, he gave an interesting hint about one thing Republicans might do around the middle of next year, which is potentially block an increase in the federal borrowing limit. Now, this is a show we've seen many times before. Republicans have used this tactic of trying to hold out on extending the borrowing limit in order to get priorities they want. It's usually some kind of spending cuts. This time around, it could be reform to entitlement programs like Social Security and Medicare. The federal borrowing limit, Congress did raise it in last December, and it didn't really make news because it just went up. The Democrats controlled Congress, and they weren't going to have some kind of smackdown battle, given that they were the ones in charge. But we could end up having this battle again sometime in the summer or the fall of 23, and everybody hates this battle when it happens. So something to gird for.
Just over 2 weeks to go until the all-important midterms. Rick Newman, thanks so much for that.